energy.
Yeah, I wonder how much cocaine they do with this.
Oh my gosh, it seemed like
I think it's that he's afraid his wife is going to find out exactly how many cigars he has.
Right.
So he has them tucked in all these bags.
Yeah.
And he grabs a different bag every time, but it still has 100 cigars.
Yeah. He walks around with a huge Jansport on his back. Now you've had to look on my face like,
Hey, KP got a reach around.
oh, I just showed that to my wife. She was dying laughing. She's like, hey, you guys are crazy.
I'll bet. Oh.
It was a fun weekend nonetheless.
Well, welcome to the Smokey Guys. As usual, we are the Smokey Guys. I'm CR Parsons.
And I'm Kevin Price.
Oh, and we don't have a plan for this week.
No, we didn't chat GPT anything this week, did
we didn't make Chat GPT do any work. We did last week, and I think it went well. I think we gave people a lot of information. This week, I just didn't want to put the 2 minutes into the work that it would take to ask Chat GPT to do it for me. So I just wanted to smoke a cigar this week. That was my whole goal this week.
I'm totally down with that. I've had a long one. We kicked off our weekend early this week.
Yes, we did.
We started off on Thursday night at the Turnpike Troubadours concert at the BOK Center, which was awesome.
It wasn't just Turnpike Troubadours.
Oh,
though.
no.
As much as I love Turnpike Troubadours, it was also Old Crow Medicine Show and Muscadine Bloodline.
Oh,
they were amazing.
Yeah, both openers killed it. Man, Old Crow show is so high energy.
Yeah, I wonder how much cocaine they do before the show.
Oh my gosh, it seemed like a ton. Yeah. You'd think Scarface was in the band.
No kidding. I mean, they were just all over the place, and every one of them was just moving around. I swear that lead singer played every instrument on the stage at some point in time.
Yeah, Catch Secor is amazing, and he's a music historian as well. I mean, the guy he knows his stuff, and he knows how to put on an old style, almost vaudeville-esque type show, and jumping around and then talking between songs and the little bits they do. It just so entertaining. A lot of the people that were like around us were blown away because they didn't know who they were.
Right.
And they were all commenting on, oh my gosh, these guys are amazing. We got to check them out every time they come through town. I'm like, yeah, they don't get through here much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You have that one person in the room always that goes, oh, they're doing that Darius Rucker song.
Yeah, right? It's like, well, Bob Dylan kind of half wrote it, and then he sent it to Catch, and Catch finished it off. Mm-hmm. And, man, even when they kicked into that, which, as a musician, we both know, we get over-requested for that song a lot.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And it's kind of made it up onto that list of Freebird requests. It's like, okay, if you're going to request that song, it better come written on a $100 bill. Right. Otherwise, we're probably not going to play it.
Right.
But yeah, even I was singing along, and I know that makes our producer happy that I was taking part in that.
Well, speaking of our producer, he is here off camera. You may see his hand if I move the ashtray forward. He may have to put his hand on camera to
guest appearance by his hand. It's a hand model now.
To ash his cigar.
But imagine my surprise whenever he actually walked in here tonight, because I seriously thought he was dead.
Yeah, if you watched last week's episode, there was a rumor that he was no longer with us.
No, he hasn't even seen the episode yet, so
no,
he has no idea what we're talking about.
Forgive me if you hear me cough or hack.
Are you still feeling hacky?
A little bit, so.
Well, a good cure for that's a good cigar.
Yeah.
That'll take care of it every time. So are we all, I guess we're all smoking the same thing tonight, right?
I think we are. Is it Neanderthal or Neanderthal? Because all the professionals now, all of the educated people no longer call them Neanderthals.
Yeah.
They call them Neanderthals.
Well, we're going to get into this because I got a funny feeling that when we talk about this cigar, that there's going to be other stuff that's mispronounced in it, so it's okay. I'm going to be that guy.
What, you don't know how to pronounce Maduro?
No.
No, it's the Neanderthal or Neanderthal from Romacraft. A spectacular cigar. Romacraft, our producer, Kevin, is a huge Romacraft fan, and he has gotten me hooked on these Romacrafts. And they're all really good.
Oh, yeah. A long shot. That was one of the first events we had whenever Omerta opened here in Tulsa, and man, I loaded up. These are amazing sticks. I like everything they do, really. I mean, I've never had a bad one.
Yeah. Well, the Cro-Magnon is one of my go-tos. I mean, I just really like that cigar.
I'm gonna be professional here for a minute because I got to look something up, but you know, it's okay. We can keep going.
I'll talk with Kevin off camera. What is the one you're going to get when you go to Germany?
That's the Wonderlust.
And that one's only available in Germany?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, have you had those before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keith went to Germany about 2 years ago, and he bought me a box.
Oh, nice.
So I have one at Omerta. I don't think I have one with me. But you can tell with the blue band, that's the Wonderlust.
Okay. I'm surprised you don't have it with you, considering all of the stuff you started pulling out of your backpack when we got here. He's carrying around a humidor's worth of cigars.
Right?
And I'm like, what, do you think we're going to run out? I guarantee you we have cigars where we're going. But he just refuses. I think it's that he's afraid his wife is going to find out exactly how many cigars he has.
Right.
So he has them tucked in all these bags.
Yeah.
And he grabs a different bag every time, but it still has 100 cigars.
Yeah. He walks around with a huge JanSport on his back. We kid, but we, you know, you really do. So if you see a guy with, you know.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah. So what were you looking up?
Actually, we were talking about Old Crow.
Yes.
And I did not finish my search here, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could probably do a better search because I told you I'm not really into this thing. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I thought they said the other night that Ketch, the lead singer, either lived in Oklahoma for a while. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
I
said he
believe
lived
so.
in Norman.
Oh, yeah.
I know he's born in St. Louis, but I think he moved around a bit, and I don't think he started playing music till later, like we moved to Virginia. But I think he could probably classify himself as an Okie,
Oh,
at least at some point.
Yeah.
which
Well,
is
that's
really cool. So
nice little connection there.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, phenomenal. And I know he's been a big part of our Woody Guthrie Center that we had open
Yes,
here in
he
Tulsa,
has.
and there's lots of cool video of him talking about Woody Guthrie and the inspiration he was on current music and popular music throughout the years.
Well, and isn't that one of the interviews that you can listen to at the Bob Dylan Museum is him talking about co-writing Wagon Wheel?
Yeah.
When Dylan sent him the lyrics and he finished the song.
Yeah.
I think we have, if you don't know, Tulsa has an amazing Bob Dylan museum. It is the only official Bob Dylan museum in the world, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's a huge collection, and one of our local philanthropists here that helped back, starting the Woody Guthrie Center and all that. Whenever the Bob Dylan archives went up for sale, he bought it. I think it was like 10 to 12 million to buy it, if I remember right.
Doesn't seem that
Doesn't
bad,
seem all that bad, right?
considering.
You just take out a second mortgage on the house here, and well, probably have to take out like 20 mortgages on the house.
Yeah.
Or, no, quite a bit more than that. I'm not good at math. We'll just go ahead and just solve that right now. But yeah, I actually have not been to the Bob Dylan Museum yet. An owl just flew over. We're outside on the Price Casa patio tonight.
That's right.
It's a little cool, but it's actually a beautiful night. The winds died down after having 50 to 60 mile an hour winds on Friday.
Tore the heck out of my back fence area. We had to completely repair our back gates after Friday.
Yeah, I came home. I've been gone all weekend. I just came home got here today, and I had shingles all over the yard. So I will be filing a wind claim tomorrow to get a new roof, apparently.
I can imagine.
But one of the things I did during that wild Friday of wind, while you guys were over here without power and street lights and everything else, I was out in western Oklahoma at Romano State Park playing golf in that wind.
Oh, wow.
It was quite the event.
It's bad when you hit your driver and the ball goes backwards.
Yes. Actually happened to one of our guys. He hit a chip, and he hit it really high, and it went straight up and straight back.
Oh, wow.
I was standing over a ball getting ready to hit, and a gust of wind literally blew me backwards. I didn't fall down, but I literally stumbled backwards several steps. I'm like, I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
For that wind to catch me and push me, it was amazing.
Well, and we were not the only ones having wind. I mean, I knew there were tornadoes that happened over in Arkansas,
Yep.
but I found out Friday that the Looney Bin, one of the places I perform in Little Rock, Arkansas, got hit by a tornado, which, I mean, like straight at them and destroyed parts of the rest of the complex that they're in, blew out their windows, took out some ceiling tiles. But the more interesting thing for you, because the Looney Bin does not mean that much to you, but guess who was performing at the Looney Bin this weekend?
Was it our buddy, either T-Rex or Scott Schaefer?
How about Sean Jones?
Oh, Sean Jones. Oh, man, he would have been my other guest.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
A good cigar buddy of ours that's
Yes.
a headliner all over the country. We love Sean, but he was there, and of course the condo is 3 blocks away from the club, so it got destroyed too. I mean, got damaged.
Yeah.
And so I immediately, when I found out about it late Friday night, I texted him, and he said he was okay and all was good. But I was like, what are the chances that it's Sean there, of all people,
Right.
stuck in that weather?
Oh, and he's not used to that. He's from Charlotte. So
That's right.
That's something I don't think Charlotte ever gets, is tornadoes.
Yeah, if they get anything, it's a hurricane, and they know weeks in advance.
Yeah, they know it's coming. Oh, man, that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
I had read that there was one, but again, we were out there and didn't have much cell service to speak of. As you guys both know, I texted you guys during our round of golf because we came up on top of one of the plateaus out there, and that's normally where one of the outhouses are. And it had literally pushed over the entire porta potty and even folded over a street sign that's out there. Which I sent you guys the thing. It looked like a truck hit it. I mean, it was amazing.
I saw the porta potty. That was wild.
Yeah. I don't think anybody was in there. We didn't stop to check, so. But yeah, it was a good weekend. I played a lot of golf. Man, I haven't played that much golf in a long time. Went for 3 rounds, 2 in one day. And this old boy's bones just were not ready for that. So
Yeah, see, that's just too much golf for me.
yeah, 15 of us sleep, or 14, 15 of us sleeping in a 3-bedroom house and sleeping on blow-up mattresses on the floor, and having to share, bathrooms, and it was quite the experience. But we do it twice a year.
Yeah.
And the group of guys that I go with, you couldn't ask for a better golf team to go out and hang out with and have some beers, and we cook our own food for each other and just have a good time. It's a good weekend of brotherhood. We smoke cigars.
Did you get some cigars in?
Got some cigars in. This time I only took a bunch of Carrillos with me.
Okay.
And loved every one of them.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
always a fan.
Yeah.
How about your weekend?
My weekend was yard work. I was telling somebody earlier, it's bad when your weekends are so booked up that you have one weekend free and you have to get all of your spring yard work done in one weekend.
Oh yeah.
So we cleared a flower bed along one of our fence lines and got a bunch of sunflowers planted for the spring. We got the front beds cleared out, got a bunch of new stuff planted in there, got the garden cleared out, got everything planted for the garden, got the backyard all cleaned up from last fall because I'm lazy and I don't pick up leaves in the fall. I wait till spring when they're all little bitty pieces instead of full leaves.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was a full couple of days, and yesterday I was not sure I was going to be able to get up this morning because I was so stiff by the end of the day.
I hear you. I didn't want to move after that second round. It was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, that just, I think the wind takes it out of you too. Plus,
Absolutely.
We were covered after Friday because as we were pulling up to the course, you could look at the horizon and it was just nothing but brown. There was so much dirt in the air.
Yeah.
And then, of course, by the time we got done, even my humidor had, half an inch of dirt just caked onto it. Everything we had. If there was no wind, it would have been a beautiful day. It would have been a perfect day to play golf. But somehow, me and my team managed to win the first day.
Nice.
Which was awesome. We only won by one stroke, but it was a great day. And then, man, couldn't ask for better weather on Saturday. Just started off freezing cold, which I think helped my golf game for whatever reason.
I think it was like 45 or something early in the day.
But it was fun golfing there too, because we had called months in advance to make tee times, because when you're having 14 guys play golf, you like to give them a heads up. And so we get there and we check in on Friday, and the lady tells us, okay, now boys, for tomorrow, she said, I'll come in sometime around 8 o'clock maybe, and then you guys could get started. So, we get there at 8 o'clock and we're sitting out front waiting. So apparently they don't have a real strict schedule around there, is what I'm saying. But if you're ever in Western Oklahoma and looking for a great round of golf, man, Romano State Park is awesome.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because that part of the country is very flat and not a lot of elevation, but that's built into some canyons and stuff, and so it's really pretty through there. They have a big lodge, and man, just it's awesome.
With that many people playing, do you play tournament style?
Yeah, so we switch it up. Like the first day, we did 3 groups of 4, and those 3 just competed for total score. It was a scramble, 4-man scramble, and then on the second day, we made it a lot more fun, because the first round we played our version of the Ryder Cup.
Okay.
So 6 of us were Europeans, and the other 6 were the United States, and 2-man teams played against each other. And at the end of the day, again, we were the Europeans, and we won. So I had a really good weekend. That was a lot of fun.
Well, good.
So,
I was just wondering if you had an official Kurt Cobain start.
Oh, yes.
It's a shotgun start.
Yeah, it's like, was his more of a shotgun end? Meant more like a Courtney Love start.
That's right. Courtney Love fired the shot. Yeah.
We might have touched a nerve with Kevin there. We got him a little choked up. Kurt Cobain's a sore subject. I mean, it's not been long enough for us to make those jokes.
But yeah, it was a good weekend. I almost went back and saw the Troubadours again last night, because they played here again Saturday night.
Why didn't they just do back-to-back Thursday and Friday?
Journey was playing.
Yeah.
Journey and Toto.
Oh.
I mean,
well, Toto.
Yeah.
You kind of had me there, but
you could have felt the rains down in Africa.
Yeah. I'd hate for some rain in Western Oklahoma.
It would have been blowing sideways.
Yeah. Hey, well, you couldn't have made my golf game any worse. I'm just throwing that out there. But we didn't see any rattlesnakes, which is a surprise. If you do play that during the summer,
you will.
Tons of rattlesnakes.
Absolutely.
They are everywhere.
Absolutely.
Saw a bunch of badger holes, and we saw a fox, which you don't see foxes all that often.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool. And I don't know what was going on, but it was chasing a cart. So I'm not sure what the golfers in the other cart had done, but this fox was actually chasing. Normally they run.
Normally they run away.
Yeah, this one was actually chasing a cart. So I didn't stop to ask what the fox said. Did break out a new toy though.
Oh, how'd your wife like it?
Oh, she won't watch this episode. No, honey, we didn't record another one. But Bushnell came out with a new Bluetooth speaker, and it's really cool because whenever you get up there, it's got a little like remote that pops off, and you can put it in your pocket.
Okay.
And you have the music up good and loud, and whenever you walk up to the hole to tee off, you can hit that button, and it will announce the distances of the hole.
Oh, nice.
So it'll tell you, you're at hole 1, it's a 425 yard par 4, it's this much to the middle, to the landing area or whatever. Then it'll tell you the greens too. It'll say, it's X amount to the front, this to the middle, and this to the back, which is really cool. Then it just goes back to playing music, and then as you play, again, you hit your shot, you go up to your ball, you hit it, and it'll tell you how far from there to front, middle, back of the green.
Nice.
So it's really cool. It's not as accurate as using a sighted laser, but it does give you a pretty good idea of what you have to hit and
That's awesome.
where to go to. So
that's awesome.
A lot of fun. It shows you if you have your phone out, it'll actually show you the diagram of the hole.
Yeah.
So you how to get
So
a pairing.
do you input like your club and your ball and all of that stuff?
You can get real technical with it.
Yeah.
And it will track it'll track it. So it'll say, let's say I go out there to play again and I hit it. Whenever it comes out, it'll be like, last time you were here, you hit a 6-iron, and it knows from, it'll track all your shots for you and calculate your handicap and everything. It's really cool.
Nice.
Very cool tool.
Nice.
I didn't use it so much this time, except for information, because we were playing kind of a scramble style.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that information to get built into something that's not a real round of golf.
Gotcha.
And then,
Gonna be given bad advice from the
exactly, because
the computer.
We had a guy on our team that his average drive was 320. And I can't hit it that far, so it would have been giving me bad information. It'd be like, oh, last time you were here, you were hitting a pitching wedge to the green. Yeah, well, this time I'm hitting a 5-iron because I am still a mile away. So I shanked the first drive off into the right, and then the next one I pulled left, and I hit a squirrel in the butt. And, it's...
You see, that wouldn't do me any good, because I'd go to play the next time and it would just suggest I sell my clubs because of how bad I played the last round. Because I am so
you
bad.
You get there and you turn it on. It's like, you didn't sell these things the last time we told you to? The value went down.
It'd be like, Siri, the nearest pawn shop is 1.3 miles away.
Here, we'll list these for you on eBay.
Exactly.
So what do you think of this cigar?
I like it. I was doing a little reading on it before we turned the camera on, and I saw that it is a Maduro, Connecticut binder, I believe.
It's a Mexican Maduro wrapper.
It's a Mexican Maduro wrapper, Connecticut Maduro binder, and the filler is a double Ligera.
Ligero?
I don't know.
I told you we'd get into this.
It's Natasha Ligera. And that's the way she spells her name. So I'm assuming it's Ligera. Is it Ligera?
It's Ligero, yeah.
Okay. See,
Ligero, I think, is the proper pronunciation. Neanderthal, tomato, potato, whatever.
Tomato, potato.
I can't keep track of them all.
But I like it. It's got really great flavor. I got the tasting notes, but I'm picking up a little bit of the cocoa that they claimed. What I'm not picking up is the red pepper.
Really? I am.
I'm getting no pepper at all from this.
What'd you have to eat today?
I had Arby's on the way.
There you go. I had Mexican food.
There you go. That may be it.
I think that's the
trigger.
That
may be it. Yeah, because I'm not picking up the pepper at all. It claims earthy, and I get a little bit of the earthiness.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely picking up that cocoa big time.
Definitely a full strength, full bodied cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a huge cigar. What, 5 inches maybe?
Yeah, 5, 6, 16, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, exactly. My wife thought it was a 12-inch cigar.
Right,
You're about there all damn night.
That was exactly what I was thinking.
But no, I think it's a great stick, man. These are really awesome.
It is. It's really good, really tasty. You've got something for us to drink.
I do.
Tell us about it, because that's a fancy box.
This is cool. So I was down in Texas for spring break, and as I usually do, I pop around to a lot of liquor stores. I got into collecting whiskeys, I don't know, several years ago, and
several hundred bottles ago.
Yeah, exactly. And so now I have what I like to drink.
Yeah.
And I've found that it's not always, because I found some great rare bottles out there that were $300, $400, $500, and that were actually a deal.
Right.
And passed on them because there are a lot of stuff that's just a whole lot cheaper that's just as good.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it just as much, and it fits my palate. But this little cool toy here, I knew the brand because you and I did a show in Amarillo, Texas, and my cousin, who owns a pizza place there,
that's right.
brought us a bottle of 21-year-old Tomintoul
That's
Scotch.
where I know the name from. I knew the name.
Yeah.
I could not remember where I knew the name from.
And I always remember that bottle. It was a wonderful Scotch, and we had a great time. We drank the whole bottle that night, and I can't seem to find it in Oklahoma. I'm sure somebody has it.
Yeah.
I just got to search it out, but I have not just run across it in any of the shops around here. But I walked into a place down in San Antonio, and they had this cool little thing sitting on the shelf, and I thought, It's got 7 different scotches in it, and I thought we'd just break it open tonight. And we got a guest star. Here
Hey, Lucy girl.
2 of them. Here comes my dogs.
Yep, Lucy
All
and
right.
Poncho.
But
They've made an appearance before.
yeah, and so anyway, I found this, and I thought, you know what, this is going to be something fun for us to have out on the patio some Sunday, because we always try to do gin and tonics or scotch on Sunday. And but I was not prepared whenever I opened it for how cool this gift set is, and I wish I would have bought more of them. But I thought tonight we might break it open and see if we can get through
So what is
some
it?
of them.
I see 14, 16, and 21.
Yep, and it's got PD Tang 10 and 12 on this side, and the what is it? Loth, I think is how they pronounce it.
Don't get me pronouncing things
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
We
I'm
already
gonna-
know how that
somebody
goes.
can chime in if you know how to pronounce it. Put that in there. But whenever I took off the top, I was just really excited. So this is kind of like a miniature unboxing video. But you take it off and look at that. It's got
Oh, that's
all
cool.
those-
They're like tiny little bottle
little-
cases.
Yeah, it's got the little cardboard cylinders that hold all the bottles, and I was just really excited by that. It's silly, I know, but
That is too neat.
it is so cool.
I'm trying to pull it out without making a mess. Come on.
Just like this. Just pull up. You say that.
See, I told you, it's not as easy to pull out as you think it is.
Hey, look, that one came out. But,
There we go.
this
That's
is-
cool. It's like an actual mini container.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you get your little mini bottle in there.
Very nice.
Great for-
Very nice.
Flights, taking
I
on
like
flights.
it. I like it.
I wish they served these on flights.
No kidding. It would be
My
nice.
flights to Vegas would be a whole lot more interesting.
Although, considering how much I paid for a Jameson last time I flew, I don't know that I would want anything of any higher quality on an airplane.
I thought we might start with the 10 and just see what we think of them
Sounds good.
and work our way through all 7. We'll see how that goes. If we got time.
If we've got enough to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to tell you one interesting thing about the cigar. Roma Craft's rings are really unique. And on the Neanderthals, if you look at it, there's kind of 2 rings, but the white ring, you'll see the evolution of man on that and the emboss.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's
You have
very,
to hold
very
it
cool.
just right to get
Yeah.
the angle. That's
That's a
pretty
cool
cool.
marketing thing. That's
That
It's
is neat.
the Wonderlust, I believe, has their the GPS coordinates to the place in Germany where they sell it.
That's cool.
Huh.
Yeah, I see that they stop at just Upright Men and didn't continue down the road. Because have you seen the one that goes to the Upright Man and then it goes to the man hunching over his phone and then back down further? It's a continuum.
what about the stumbling Scotchman?
There you go.
That that would be a great one to have on here.
Johnny Stumbler.
Yes,
instead
I've
of
been that
Johnny
guy.
Walker. I have too, unfortunately. A few too many times. In case you're wondering, we're not being rude. Kevin is a beer guy. He is not a whiskey guy at all. And so we just poured 2 pours out of this instead of 3. But that is the reason, is because Kevin's not a whiskey guy. What are you drinking, Kev?
The Corona Familia.
It's all about the family.
Yes. So
Got a nice nose to it.
Yeah.
A lot of fruit on the nose. I'm
Yeah.
picking up like some pear and even maybe some peach.
yeah, man, you're not getting a whole lot of that alcohol
Not at all.
burn smell at all. It's not like it even has to open up.
I'm going to guess the 10 is an 80 proof because it's not drinking overly
Yeah,
strong.
no, I believe all of them. Yeah, they're all.
Are they?
I think they're all. I will double check them, but this one is 80 proof. Yeah, I get a lot of that citrusy and floral notes on it.
Absolutely.
For a 10, it drinks really well. I mean, it's not harsh. I would expect it because it is younger. I half expected at least a little more, not really alcohol burn because it is only 80 proof, but just some of that harshness that you get because it hasn't fully matured. But man, that's really good. And
some of that immaturity.
I believe this is actually owned by Glenlivet.
Okay.
It's a Glenlivet brand that they do, which is, I don't know who the parent company is. I could sit here and tell you Diageo or somebody and be totally wrong. But
So is it Scotch or is it whiskey?
It's Scotch whiskey.
Okay. What's the difference?
All Scotches are whiskeys, not all whiskeys are Scotches.
yeah,
Where it's made?
Where it's made is definitely a huge portion of it. All Scotch has to come from Scotland.
yeah,
It's a lot of people say all bourbon has to come from Kentucky, and that used to be the case.
Yeah.
But that has since changed. But Scotch, if it is called Scotch, it has to come from Scotland.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's usually called a single malt whiskey, which indicates that it is a Scotch-like whiskey, but not from Scotland.
And it doesn't have E in the name, whiskey. They take the E out.
They do.
So you can always tell that too. It's kind of another giver. But they have actually a government entity over there that monitors and regulates it
All of that very significant
to make sure that it all is up to par to be called Scotch. But I'm really enjoying that. Like I say,
Picking up the vanilla, this is a very bourbon-like Scotch. I mean, I'm not picking up any smoky or peatiness from it. This would be an easy introductory Scotch to somebody who's not a Scotch drinker.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I started off on Macallan 12, and if someone was looking to get into Scotch, this Tomintoul 10 is
Very approachable.
definitely. That wouldn't
Very
chase anybody off.
Not at all. Not at all.
Got a little wind out here tonight that just
Yep.
this
Breeze
is nice.
is picking up a little bit.
But it also goes great with the cigar.
It does.
Kind of changed it a little bit. It's kind of I'm picking up almost a beef flavor
I was gonna say
out of the cigar.
It definitely upped the earthiness and kind of mellowed the cocoa flavor for my taste buds.
Yeah.
Now, I had a Dr. Pepper before I started smoking the cigar, and I wonder if that had an effect on why I picked up the cocoa, because the sweetness of the Dr. Pepper combined with a little cocoa would give a strong chocolatey note to it. But this has cut that, and I'm picking up a whole lot more of the earthiness. I'm still not getting any pepper.
Yeah, I'm not getting pepper now at all, but it's like I say, I'm getting that kind of, like I say, charred steak flavor, which obviously I love.
Oh,
That's
nothing
great.
wrong with
Of course,
that.
I had a Yingling before we started this, so I don't know if that has any effect. But I'd go have another Yingling right now just to test the theory.
To test the theory.
Yes, I'm all about science. I'm your science guy.
What was it? We were smoking some cigar out here once, and I took a drink of the beer I was drinking, and it completely changed the cigar. I cannot for the life of me remember what we were smoking and what we were drinking, but it changed it so dramatically that I stopped you and I said, "Here, you have to take a drink of this beer and then smoke that cigar again."
If I remember right, I think we were drinking one of those stouts from 903 Brewing in Sherman, and it might have been the chocolate-covered cherry stout that they do.
It may have been.
And if the cigar is the one I'm thinking of, I think it was the it was one of the was it a Superfly, maybe?
It may have been.
Because I was thinking it was one of those it was a cigar that we were both really enjoy
And very familiar
and
with.
very familiar with, but we were shocked at how just one sip of something can totally change a cigar that you already know.
Totally changed it.
Yeah.
Which is something I will tell you, try that. If you've got a cigar that you've picked up a couple or three and you've tried it and you decide, this isn't as good as I thought it might be, try it with different foods and drinks, because it will change the flavor that you pick up from the cigar.
For sure. That is really cool. Again, it's all for science.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have Bill Nye, the science guy, and I'm
You have the Smokey Guys, the
Kevin Price, the degenerate whiskey cigar
guy.
science guy. We could probably shorten that some.
Yeah, probably so. Probably ought to.
One of my buddies that I do a lot of running around with, and he's a big Kev Mo fan, and he has shortened my name to Kev Pry.
Oh.
So that's always the deal. Now Kev Mo's coming to town. I hope we're getting to go see that show because I have become a big fan myself.
Okay, you're going to have to tell me who Kev Mo is because I don't know.
You don't know who Kev Mo is?
No, I don't.
Wow. So Kev Mo is, I guess you call him a blues musician. I mean, for lack of a better description, that's what I would probably put him in. I mean, he's got this really cool, everything he does has got this cool groove to it.
Okay.
And I don't care if it's just him and his acoustic guitar or a recorded, in a studio full band thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kev just delivers just a great groovy tune.
Huh.
I've seen him do, like at the Kennedy Center, saw him do a cover of a Beatles song.
Okay.
And he totally changed it and made it his own. But he's just one of those super talented guys that man, if a Kev Mo song comes on, I'm there.
Huh. I'll have to look him up.
He did a song. He did an album probably right before COVID or right during COVID maybe. But he had some songs on there that were influenced by Tulsa.
Okay.
And he talks a lot in a couple of the songs he talks about Tulsa, and he talks about Native Americans and stuff like that. And
yeah.
He always seems to kind of address certain subjects in a way that's just really well done. He's a heck of a writer. I'll introduce you to his tunes.
Yeah, you'll have to, because I don't know who he is. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting.
Speaking of introducing people to new music, I was introduced to some stuff on the way home today because I had a couple buddies in the car, and one of the guys said, "Hey, you listen to rap much?" And I said, "Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I grew up on rap. I mean,
right.
I remember Grandmaster Flash, and in my day, I did some breakdancing. I had the parachute pants, and had a lot of fun with that kind of rap. And then, high school years, it was all about the gangster rap. It was NWA, Eazy-E, and all that stuff. And then I kind of progressed into Tupac and stuff. But at some point, it was probably about Tupac and Biggie times that I just kind of, that's kind of where I stopped. Being introduced to new rap at that time. And I know it's come a long way. There's a lot of different guys out there. Not hating on any of them.
I'll hate on some.
Okay.
Any mumble rapper out there, I'll hate on because I cannot stand that stuff. I'm kind of like you. About the gangster rap era is when I began to lose interest. But there have been a lot of newer guys come around that I have found a lot of new interest in.
Yeah.
Because it's the newer guys, unless you're talking about the mumble rappers and the guys who just have nothing to say.
Yeah.
There are some newer guys now that it's almost like jazz as rap.
Yeah.
They are combining the syllabic information of the words with a rhythmic function that is just fascinating.
Yeah, I guess I should go ahead and say it wasn't really Tupac where I stopped. I would say probably that around the time Eminem got popular is kind of where I dropped off.
Okay.
And it wasn't that I disliked rap, and I still love it. I still listen to that stuff all the time, but I just hadn't gone out and sought out new artists.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's maybe part of its age. I guess, man, I'm just really going all over here, but I did get a chance to meet up the guys, the Nappy Roots.
Yeah.
I got a chance to hang out with those guys and heard some of their stuff, and I always enjoyed that. And they are super guys. Got to hang out with them, and always enjoyed what they do because they're kind of country rappers,
right?
Which is neat. But today, I was introduced to Lil Dicky.
Oh, you don't know Lil Dicky?
And it's not Little, it's Lil.
Yeah, Lil Dicky's huge.
And I've was totally unaware of this, and
he's like nerdcore rap.
okay, well, yeah, he has that Eminem kind of, like you were talking about, the rhythmic thing, but it's also kind of mixed with comedy.
Yes,
and if you and it's hard because he's very fast, but if you listen to it, there's a lot of really funny things in there, and it's highly entertaining. And I can't wait to dive into more of his stuff and listen to it. But I was able to share with those guys, a guy that you introduced me to, and again, I apologize, I have not listened to a whole lot of his stuff, but Tom McDonald, and they both enjoyed that, so it's kind of fun to share information like that, and I hope people are doing that with our music. That'd be wonderful.
I hope so. I hope so too. I hope people are discovering all kinds of different artists, because there are so many amazing independent artists out nowadays. Nowadays, I don't think you even need a record company to be a functioning artist in music. There are so many good independents, and they're doing their own thing. They're making their own videos. They're putting them out on their own, and they are reaping the benefits of their own work, instead of a record company reaping the benefits and them getting a slice of their own work.
Yeah, it was funny because we were out on the golf course, and several of us had the big, the Bluetooth speakers going. Again, we were on a course that there wasn't a whole lot of other players, so we were able to kind of do what we wanted, and we had the tunes cranked up real good and loud. Well, we were finishing up on this one green, and here comes one of the other groups that were ahead of us, and they were coming back by our green to go up to their green, and one of the guys comes by. He's like, "Hey, man, do you recognize this song?" And I kind of winked at him. I was like, "Yeah." And the guys in my group go, "Wait, that's you!" So they were
That's
streaming.
always fun.
Yeah, they were streaming my stuff, and the crazy thing was, I had my Spotify on. I was just had it on shuffle, throwing out whatever came on.
Yeah.
And the very next day, it played two of my songs back to back on some random playlist, algorithm, whatever.
Nice.
And then a little bit later, we heard it again, and it was fun, because then on the way home, one of the guys was talking to his wife, and she asked him how it was going, and he goes, "I had the coolest experience today." He said, "I'm riding along with this guy playing golf with him, and next thing I know, I'm hearing him come out of a Bluetooth speaker, and I didn't even know he played music."
That's awesome.
He said, "But I recognize the voice."
That's awesome. That is great.
That was too much fun.
That is great. Yeah, I wish I could remember the Little Dicky song that got me introduced to him. That's going to drive me nuts, and I'm going to have to look it up, because there was one song in particular. It was so funny, and I cannot for the life of me think of it. But I will think of it and show it to you, because I got introduced to him probably about 4 years ago. Yeah, about 4 years ago. One of my comedy friends, who is an absolute nerd, was completely into Little Dicky, and so we were on the road, and he's like, "You got to hear this song." I'm like, "Oh, jeez, a rap artist, really?" And I listened to it. I'm like, "That's hysterical."
Yeah. Yeah, it's, like I say, very entertaining. I would not play it around your kids, obviously. It's definitely not suitable for work either, but you know, I don't want our producer going in to work tomorrow and pulling
blasting
that up.
some Little Dicky.
Little Dicky. HR will pay you a visit, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely they would. Now, Tom McDonald, I got introduced to about 2020. He's very political and
very anti-establishment.
Very much so.
Wow.
Very much so. And I liked his stuff. I liked what he did, and I don't always agree with him 100%. But I don't have to agree with somebody to like their music.
Not at all.
But I like Tom McDonald. He just recently did a song which I thought was okay at best. Which I hate to say that about an artist, but he did a song with John Rich.
Oh,
and it was you have to understand. I like Tom McDonald. I like John Rich. I really like what John Rich does. But the combination of the two just wasn't great as far as I was concerned. Which is sad. I hate that it wasn't spectacular.
Yeah. I get that. I get that letdown, because there's a lot of artists that I look forward to new stuff coming out, and and then you listen to it. But then sometimes it just takes listening to it 10 or 12 times. The next thing you know, you go, oh, now I get it. Now I understand. It just takes a while for it to sink in.
Yeah.
The more I've paid attention to that Ren guy that you introduced me to last week.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've went out and listened to some more of his stuff, and we played it in the car today for the guys. And they were just like, wow, that's cool. And like I say, we listened to other songs too, not just that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was he's talented.
He is. He really is.
I really enjoyed it.
It's fascinating. He's really good. We have to talk about though. There was a song that the Turnpike Troubadours played. I think it was the last song of their regular set.
Yes.
Right, or Thursday night. Long Hot Summer Day.
Yep.
If you have not heard that song, look it up and listen to it.
And make sure it's by Turnpike, because it is a cover song.
It is.
The original doesn't sound hardly anything like the Turnpike version. Mm-hmm. It's great, and it's still a great song, but theirs is probably the more iconic version.
But you and I had a moment. What was that? 2021?
Yes.
Early 2021?
Yeah.
Turnpike Troubadours had been split up for 2-3 years at that point. No clue that they were going to get back together. In fact, that wasn't even in the discussions. And buddies of ours, I think we've mentioned them on the podcast before, Chad Cook and the guys from the Chad Cook Band, they were opening for
Flatland
Cavalry. And I keep calling them Cavalry.
Yeah,
Calvary instead of Cavalry.
Man, we are enunciating tonight like none other.
You would think I had 16 of these, but that's just the way I talk. Flatland Cavalry, and it was a great concert, hell of a concert. That drummer freaks me out because he only has partial hands, but he plays drums like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Spectacular night. Had a great time there, hanging out backstage, hanging out with the guys. But you ran into
Kyle Nix, the fiddle player for Turnpike.
Yeah.
And we were having an awesome conversation backstage whenever the lead singer of Flatland, Cleto Cordero, came off stage and came over and asked him if he was interested in getting up and doing a encore song with them.
Yep.
And man, that they tuned up a fiddle for him, and they went back for their encore, and their fiddle player kicked into Long Hot Summer Day, which sent the crowd into a frenzy. But when Kyle Nix walked on stage with his own fiddle and joined in, it went from like a 10 volume through the roof.
Yeah, like I was going to say 25, but that wouldn't be enough.
No.
The energy in that room was unbelievable. That is true rock star energy.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a true rock star moment. When he walked on stage, when they first started it, Flatland Cavalry's fiddle player started it. And of course, everybody started stomping the floor because that's what you do during that song.
Yeah.
When Kyle hit the stage, I thought Tumbleweed was going to fall down.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the kind of energy that was in that room that night. It was so unbelievably good.
I totally agree. And I will come back to part of this conversation here in a sec, but I think we ought to introduce another whiskey if you're open to that.
Well, gosh.
Yeah. You got nothing left in there? You might cleanse
yeah,
your palate with some
I'm
water.
ready for some more. Sure.
Might cleanse up with some water if you
Which
haven't
one is
already.
this?
We're going to go to the 12-year, and this one is actually a limited edition. It is an Oloroso sherry cask finish.
Okay.
So if that gives you a little bit of something to go on, you might be able to take pictures of each of these and put them into the video somehow so you can see them afterwards. But I think we'll pour this one up and
let's do.
Get a taste of it. See if I can do as good pouring these equally as I did before.
You did very good last time.
I don't know how I managed that.
Very good last time.
I'm usually pretty heavy-handed here. That should hopefully be about the same.
And just so you know, I'm not having to relight this because it's a poorly made cigar. I'm having to relight it because I'm talking
Because
about
we
it.
talk way too much. Oh, the nose is wonderful on that.
Oh, definitely get that sherry on
Right?
the nose.
Oh, man.
It has gone from a citrus a pear sweet to almost a dark cherry.
Yeah. Oh wow. Talk about smooth. I mean, it's only 80 proof as well, but
Oh, that's
there
good.
There is no.
Starts out with a sweet note and definitely ends with that sherry.
Yeah.
That sherry finish. You definitely pick that up. And it's enough like the 10 that you can tell they're related.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have too. I've had some that were the same family, just a couple of years apart, but a different finish that you couldn't tell they were related.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, they might as well be completely different alcohols.
I think we kind of picked that up a little bit out of that Dickel or the Treaty Oak that we had.
The Treaty Oak. Yeah, the Treaty Oak Dickel.
Yeah. There's definitely a bigger change there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It is definitely smoother because I mean it has less alcohol feel than the 10.
Oh yeah. It is smoothed out nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wonderful Scotch. And again, very approachable.
And how do you pronounce that? The sherry casket's finished in
Oloroso.
Oloroso.
Yeah. That's a good one to research too.
Yeah. Have to look that up and see what that means. We're a very informative podcast. We tell you things that you need to look up and learn, like we are.
Yeah, we'll give you what we think of it, but definitely go out and check it out yourself and figure out what you think, because we could be totally wrong, or all of our palates are different.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Man, that is
absolutely.
That's a bottle that may need to go into the regular rotation of having people over that don't drink a lot of Scotch.
Yeah,
that's sweet enough too that it.
Yeah. Well, it should be mentioned that all of these are Spacesides, and
Yes.
Speyside has a tendency to be a more approachable type of Scotch rather than a Isla or a Highland. Both of those have very distinctive properties that the Islas especially, you almost have to know something about Scotch to really enjoy an Isla.
Yeah, my first one I did not.
Yeah,
I absolutely, my palate was not ready for that, and luckily I'm hard-headed enough that I'm willing to go back and see things again for, with a different set of eyes or taste buds.
Right. But
now I love those, and
Yeah.
now they're a go-to.
Yeah, Islas are one of my favorites. I like the Islas that you can pick up the saltiness, the brininess.
Yes, of the water
of
that
the
they
sea
use.
that they're around, because you can. I mean, that's part of what makes Scotch so interesting, is that you literally are tasting the region.
Yeah, and it is neat that they have those distinct regions that you can sample from. So if one's not your style, you just move on to the next and try it out.
Exactly. Yeah, I was mostly a Highland Scotch guy for a long time, because Highlands generally speaking are a little easier on the palate than an Isla. They're a lot less peaty, generally speaking.
Oh yeah.
And so they drink more like a bourbon, but Speysides are very approachable as well.
And I talk too much, so get a relight. There we go. And we have street racers going by. Always an adventure here at the Price household.
Hey, it's all better than my house.
Yeah.
I live right on the frontage road to an interstate. So if we were doing this at my house, all you would hear is the car noise.
Yep, and sirens.
Well, that too.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Very good. I've had a lot of sherry cask finish stuff lately. I don't know if more people are finishing stuff in sherry casks, but they all seem to be good.
Yeah.
I think I like sherry. I mean, I've never been much of a sherry drinker. I have had sherry a few times, but all I remember about sherry is that was always what Fraser and his brother drank.
Yeah.
Was sherry, and they were snobs about it.
That's a great show. Miss some of those old sitcoms.
Absolutely. What have you been watching lately? Anything interesting?
Yeah. So obviously the new season of Ted Lasso. That's a go-to in my house.
Still haven't started
being
it.
a soccer, football household.
Mm-hmm.
But recent development on that one. My youngest child, who is 12, was at school the other day, and his teacher said, "Well, you're a soccer player, so what do you think of Ted Lasso?" And we hadn't let him start watching it yet because there's some language in there, and there's some situations.
You don't think Roy speaks to the children?
So, oh yeah, he speaks to the children. He is my internal voice when I'm out coaching soccer. There is so many times I just want to go, "Oi, you little shits!" But I don't. I have to. That's an internal voice that speaks to me, and I channel that, and I bury it way down deep, and I don't let that come out. But he is now into season. Let's see, he started watching it yesterday. He's in season 2 already today.
Oh wow!
He's been binge watching it, and so I asked him today. I said, well, first thing he texted me, and he said, "Hey, Dad, can we change the name of our team to the Richmond Rios?" Because his coach is Rio Melo, who is a really good Brazilian soccer player, and is a wonderful man too. I mean, he's 23 years old, but he has come in and really worked with our boys, and he's been a blessing to have join our team.
That's awesome.
So he asked that first of all through text, and then when I got home, I asked him. I said, "Bud, so what are you thinking of Ted Lasso? Are you enjoying this?" He's like, "Dad, I really do. I he's telling me all the things, where he's at, and all the different. He's like, I just wonder what's going to happen next, and I just can't. He's asking me questions. I can't tell him I don't want to ruin it for him.
Right.
And I said, so is what has stood out to you about the show? And he's like, well, I told Mom, man, Dad is Ted Lasso. And I was like, I kind of like to think of myself as like a blend of Ted Lasso and Coach Beard. But yeah, it was funny. It was actually really, really nice to hear him say that, because I do try to emulate that a little bit too, because I love the way he speaks to his players. I love the way he treats his players.
Yeah.
And I grew up with hard coaches that were just really tough on us, and wanted to make us tough. Well, in today's society, it's frowned upon, but I think that's what is cool about Ted Lasso, and what like Bill Lawrence and them have done with Ted Lasso is make it to show you that you can still, be a gentleman,
right?
Coach players a certain way, and they'll respond to it.
Yeah.
And so it warmed my heart for him to say that Ted Lasso reminds him of me.
Well, I need your cookie recipe.
Right? I gotta make some biscuits.
That's right. I need some biscuits.
But today, while we had some free time after I got home and got settled in and just wanted to let my body relax from all the golf, we started watching Shrinking on Apple TV.
Yeah, that's what's his name?
It's Harrison Ford and Jason.
From How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
What is his last name?
Dang, it's gonna escape me.
From the Muppet movie.
I can see him playing his day.
Siegel.
Too. Jason Segal. Yeah, Siegel.
Seagal.
Something. We're into enunciating again.
Apples, oranges.
Yeah, exactly. But I gotta tell you what, it's another Bill Lawrence project.
Okay.
And if you're familiar, if you're a TV guy, Bill Lawrence, obviously Ted Lasso is probably the newest thing that everybody's into. But he was also the guy that did Scrubs, one of my all-time favorite shows. Scrubs for me,
a great show.
Yeah, it's one I can go back and watch it and I still laugh.
I
really
tell you,
hard.
One of the things I loved about Scrubs was they did a little bit of fourth wall breaking. Well, they did a lot of fourth wall breaking, but they did a little bit of realistic fourth wall breaking in the janitor,
yes,
who had been an actor, and so they see him on a show, and I loved that because it was just so meta and functionally interesting the way they did that.
Well, shrinking is very it's very different than Ted Lasso. But I think we're 3 episodes in is all we got to cram into today.
Okay.
But man, it is such a good show.
Yeah.
Of course, Harrison Ford, seeing him in a non-action role.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. He plays a therapist, that's what Jason Segel plays too. They're what are they? I can't remember the exact type of therapist they are, but anyway, they're therapists, and he just plays a wonderful role. And he's playing an older guy who he's getting the tremors and all that stuff, and having to deal with that. But they just make it such a funny show. It's a comedy,
yeah,
and it is well worth so far the effort of sitting down and watching them and getting into it. The character building and all is spot on.
Very cool.
I definitely recommend that show and if you haven't seen the TikTok that they put up to kind of generate some interest, you have to go watch it.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Absolutely hilarious. Like I say, so far, again, I know we're fresh into it, but if it stays on track, and you have to think it almost would, because again, Scrubs, awesome.
Right.
Ted Lasso so far, awesome.
Yeah.
I just see nothing but good things for the show.
That's cool. Well, I finally finished the first half of the season of Yellowstone.
Oh yeah.
And so that's supposed to be starting up again here for too long, I think.
Very cool.
I don't remember exactly.
Hello, guest star.
Hey, Lucy girl.
Hey.
It is.
I'm impressed. That Petey one though, man, Petey Tang.
I got to remember that one and find it.
If only Tang tasted like that when I was a kid. The astronauts would be taking Petey Tang to the moon.
That's right. To the moon.
Yeah, that's a great ender right there.
It is. And speaking of enders, where can they find you online?
I believe you can find me still at Kevin Price Band, at Kevin Price Band on all the social medias, at KP Troubadour, at Kevin Price Band. We do a lot of the show postings and stuff. At KP Troubadour, I just kind of do some random stuff that's my own. I'll still post shows there, but you get a lot of other stuff that I throw up.
There you
go. Not that I'm throwing up online. Yeah, you probably won't see that.
That's a whole different kink.
Yeah, that's a different one. You got OnlyFans for that probably. At Puking Troubadour. I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff. But what about you?
CR Parsons Comedy, CR Parsons Comedian, depending on the social media. And crparsons.com, you can find me there. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've liked this video. If you haven't liked this video, go ahead and like and subscribe anyway. You don't have to like it to like and subscribe.
Just do us a favor.
That's right.
We can beat the algorithm.
That's right. You just help us out. This has been fun. It's been a long one, but it's been a fun one.
Definitely. Hey,
good to have you guys here.